Good morning, Villa fans, and welcome to a match reaction for Aston Villa 2, Arsenal 1. What a great victory on Saturday lunchtime, lining up the weekend perfectly. Emi Buendia, 95th minute winner. I didn't want to put too much on the thumbnail. I just wanted to leave this picture in the background of everyone just celebrating with him and just crowning him as King Buendia. I'm sure that you've listened to about 20, 30 podcasts going on about the victory, so I'm sure that one more won't hurt. So I wanted to actually play the commentary of the actual lead up to the winner, but for some reason I'm getting copyright strikes on it, so unfortunately can't do that. But what a phenomenal performance. I've watched this goal back probably about 1,000 times since he scored it. And it just gets better and better every time I watch it. Does anyone else do this, where you watch the replay of the goal so many times that you actually start looking out for other players' kind of reactions and celebrations? That's kind of what, maybe it's just me, that's what I'm doing, but I love to see the players on the pitch and what their reactions are to the goal. Even players who are not kind of involved in the play, and just see how they react. And it's just so great to see all the players together, the unity, and just this picture here really sort of epitomised. You've got there, I think John McGinn was off the pitch at that time, obviously Pau Torres off the pitch, Ollie Watkins off the pitch, and they're just celebrating with Emi Buendia, the smiles and everything on the face. So yeah, really good. I've seen so many versions of it. I've seen so many sort of clips of it. I think the best one is probably the Titanic music, Celine Dion, with this goal. I've never been a fan of that song, to be honest, but I've been playing that non-stop on repeat just with this goal. And I think they should just change the actual video. Forget Celine Dion, have Emi Buendia, and have this goal as the actual video for the song. But yeah, winding it back, guys. Team lineup. Well, the only surprises there were Ian Maatsen sort of coming in at left back, and I thought he was absolutely brilliant. Probably his best performance in a Villa shirt. He really had a tough task in handling Bukayo Saka, but he did a really good job. And when someone like Bukayo Saka has been withdrawn off the pitch, you know that you've done a good job. That he's not been able to affect the game as Arsenal would have wished he would have. So Maatsen really good. Hopefully now starting to push Luca Digne, because Luca Digne has had a bit of a redemption as well, and a renaissance in his career lately as well, and kept Maatsen out of the team. But now there's some really good competition going on that left-hand side. I just hope we can get the same going on the right-hand side eventually. But, really good to see Ian Maatsen with a really good performance. Midfield-wise, I think most people called it. It would be Amadou Onana and Kamara, with Tielemans playing a little bit more advanced, which just seemed the sensible thing to do. And then we saw Rodgers and McGinn as those two kind of like narrow 10s, not really wingers, I wouldn't really call them, but narrow 10s. Which then allowed the likes of Maatsen and Cash to get forward on the overlaps and out on the wings. So, yeah, I thought everyone had a strong game. I mean, player ratings, this is going to be simple. Everyone was a 10 out of 10. Do you know what I mean? I can't fault anyone in that performance, and everyone was superb. So, yeah, that's what we did. And obviously, Ollie Watkins getting the nod up front ahead of Daniel Marlon for this, obviously given his record against Arsenal as well. But you could see, and I think I called it quite early on in my halftime thoughts video, that he wasn't running freely. He had a superb chance early on where it looked like he'd done all the hard work, sort of chopping the Arsenal defence inside and out, and he's literally one-on-one with Raya and tries to find the corner, and Raya sort of reads his idea there and makes the save low down. But you could just see with Ollie Watkins, he wasn't running freely. Just something wasn't right with him. You could just see it. It wasn't running at full tilt, full sprint. And maybe this knee issue that he's got is proving him a few more issues than everyone kind of thinks. So, yeah. But, yeah, so it was that. Arsenal, obviously, coming on strong as well. I remember, I think it was Odegaard had a shot that's, Martinez had to get down to. Saka had one from a similar range, which Martinez sort of parries away. Ben White had a tame effort, which was easily saved for Martinez. Eze did put the ball in the back of the net, but Saka rightly flagged offside as Villa held a really strong, good line. But Villa were very good as an attacking force as well. Had chances, as I mentioned, Ollie Watkins coming close there. Morgan Rodgers having a really strong game. great footwork from Rodgers. I mean, that's what I called him at halftime. Morgan footwork. Rodgers showing some excellent close control, really, really going at the defence really well. Matty Cash having a shot, which was blocked by, I think it was Morgan Rodgers' deep cross, actually, blocked by the backside of Declan Rice and going out for a corner. And that was a sign for things to come. And obviously, Eze was playing on that sort of left-hand side midfield, tracking Matty Cash. Didn't do a good job on the second time he was asked about it. When the ball came in from Pau Torres, I think it was, a little flick in the middle, and Matty Cash is just running onto it. Eze's on his heels, and Matty Cash nutmegs David Raya. And another great finish. And that's a goal against Man City. That's a goal against Arsenal. Can he now go and get a goal against Liverpool at Villa Park and complete the treble? I'm backing him too. When we play Liverpool at Villa Park, Matty Cash to score. There's your bet. There's your bet for you. So yeah, great finish, low and hard through the keeper's legs, and it's 1-0. The goal swing celebration comes out, and Villa are leading. We were good value for it. I thought we played really well in midfield. We weren't just admiring Arsenal. We were taking the game to them. I thought Yuri Tielemans was very good in that advanced sort of position, but also did his defensive work really well, passing the ball off very nicely. I just thought Villa were very strong. Watkins, didn't have obviously too many clear chances. There was a chance in the second half as well, which I'll come on to. Obviously, Arsenal making a couple of changes at halftime. I think Eze had come off and Trossard had come on, and they really pushed in the second half to begin with. That first 15 minutes, they get the equaliser through Trossard after I think Onana was outmuscled in midfield, and they break and they score 1-1. And then they're in the ascendancy. That, as I said, that 15-minute kind of spell up until the hour mark, they were, getting close. Odegaard letting fly from edge of the box, and a great fingertip save from Emi Martinez, just putting it over the crossbar. So that was a very good one. And then I thought Villa started to come into the game a bit more. Daniel Marlon coming on at this point as well, and he's had a couple of chances, put one just wide. Matty Cash sending the ball sort of down the channel. I think Rodgers flicks it into Marlon. Marlon takes a first-time shot, as he normally does, and just drags it just wide. And then we've had other chances as well. I think Ian Maatsen getting on the overlap on the left-hand side, plays a lovely low ball, and it deflects off, I think it's Jurien Timber with the outstretched leg, and just goes behind David Raya, but doesn't spin sort of into the goal, and just is kept out and cleared by Arsenal. And then, we had further chances. I thought we were dangerous. So Ollie Watkins having a shot, which maybe he could have passed to Morgan Rodgers. He was slipping as he shot, but David Raya gets down well to save that from Ollie Watkins before he came off as well. But we were dangerous, and we made subs at the right time. Jadon Sancho getting an appearance coming on. And then you felt like, it almost felt like, okay, well, we've got it to 1-1. It's staying at 1-1. We'll probably just be happy with that and content with that, but not this manager. He just makes a few more changes, puts like Lamar Bogart to right back, Victor Lindelof comes on, Jadon Sancho comes on, and the key man, Emi Buendia, comes on as well. And all of a sudden, we're flooding the penalty box. And the goal, the winner, quick throw in, Sancho plays it into Buendia. Buendia tries to get a shot off, the ball's nicked away from his foot, cleared away by Arsenal, only half to Lindelof, who plays it into Tielemans. Tielemans lays it off to Kamara. Kamara out wide to Rodgers. Rodgers into Marlon. Marlon holds it up, back into Rodgers. Deep cross into the box. Sancho at the far post, heads it back across. Tielemans is on the run, gets a touch to it. Raya makes a good save from point-blank range. Buendia tries to follow it up, blocked by the Arsenal defender. And then Buendia bounces back up, gets to the rebound just before the defender does, lays it back into Kamara. Kamara is actually falling. It looks like he's slipping before he even gets a shot away, and just sort of puts a stretched leg at it. That's kind of blocked. And then Kamara sort of gets up, manages to poke it. I think he's trying to set up himself, but he pokes it into space, and Buendia is up and off the ground very quickly and just gets that ball in, and it just flies past David Raya. And it's 2-1. Absolute scenes, limbs everywhere. I'm running around the house. I'm kissing the wife. I'm kissing the kids. I was a bit, emotional at that point. And yeah, we have won the game. And I just hoped that VAR wouldn't call it back for anything stupid after such a celebration. And I was praying that nothing would come back to us. But I think they did a couple of sort of quick checks and there was nothing they could disallow. And the goal stood. And Villa Park is absolutely bouncing. I mean, that was almost like the Bayern Munich PSG up there with that sort of performance. It was phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal finish from Buendia. And yeah, that took us up to second position. Obviously, Man City have won later in the day, which now takes it down to third. But to be in the conversation, to be putting in these performances and this level of performance is absolutely brilliant. You know, we didn't stand back against Arsenal. We attacked them. We had Matty Cash roaring up the right-hand side, Maatsen overlapping on the left. You know, Rodgers and McGinn tucked in. I thought they were very good as well. We weren't just competing. We were in this game from minute one. And if anything, we deserved the victory. Arsenal fans may disagree with that, but I felt we were good value for the victory. You know, and this manager Unai Emery is got something special going from a lot of players that have been there for a long time. You know, the likes of Emi Buendia, who everyone thought was finished, including myself. Matty Cash, who I openly said we needed to replace him. He's absolutely shut me up. He's been brilliant this season. I don't know what the instruction has been. Maybe that more license to get forward. The fact that we don't have an actual winger as such is allowing him a bit more space. But, you know, we've all berated in the past the quality of him in the final third. His crossing's rubbish, or, you know, he can't take on a man. But at the moment, he's getting in the box at the right times. And his crossing has improved, even when on his left foot, when he checks back, which we always said was a problem when he was check back, play the easy ball to somebody. He's now checking back onto his left and putting some good deliveries in. So whatever Matty Cash has been instructed to do, whatever confidence Unai Emery's been giving him now, we're reaping the benefits of that. So he was a player that I kind of dismissed and said, oh, we need to upgrade on Matty Cash. Not this Matty Cash. This Matty Cash is very, very good. And he needs to keep this up. Pau Torres has given us he's come back from injury. You know, we all were happy with Tyrone Mings at left centre back. But what Pau Torres does is that he just starts the build up. He's so calm and composed on the ball. You know, I don't think there's another centre back like him in Europe. You can just start your attacks from him. He plays it into midfield. He can play little channel balls. He's just so calm on the ball. And for me, Ezri Konsa is, at the moment, probably the best centre-back in the Premier League on current form. I wouldn't want to swap him for anyone at the moment. The guy is brilliant, and we need to tie him down to a new contract. I know he's got some years remaining on his, but we need to keep Ezri Konsa. And, you know, he's the key player. If I don't see Ezri Konsa's name in the lineup, then I'm kind of like, not panicked, but, you know, a bit more concerned. He's a player that holds that defence really together. So for me, you know, Ezri Konsa needs to nail him down. Boubacar Kamara, I mean, I can go for the whole team. Boubacar Kamara could play for any team in the world. I include Real Madrid and Barcelona in that. Absolutely. He's just absolutely quality. Absolute quality. On the ball, winning it. He's actually getting forward a little bit more. You know, Amadou Onana is doing very well and starting to get some form into his performances. I'm not saying that he's the finished article. I think there's a lot more still to come from him. You know, when to move forward, when to charge out with the ball. Maybe you can progress it a bit better. But, you know, we've got Yuri Tielemans in there as well. You know, what an ace in the pack he is. And in these sorts of games where you need an extra body in midfield, he can do that superbly. You know, McGinn and Rodgers, yes, they offer some width when the ball goes wide. But, you know, they're tucking in. Striker-wise, obviously, we're doing all of this into third position. Was it 8 wins in a row now, is it? 7 wins in a row, something like that, without a recognised on-form striker, you could say. Ollie Watkins has, you know, not been in the best form, and some may say he needs replacing in January. His injury is obviously taking a toll on him, and you can really show today. I do think we'll be active in January, and we will sign a striker. Whether it's going to be someone that's going to replace Ollie Watkins in the long term, I'm not sure. Whether it's going to be a short-term loan fix, again, not sure. But I'm sure that Unai Emery and Alabi will have their scouts out there and looking at potential signings for us, because I don't think we can rely on Ollie Watkins to stay fit and have a run of games and get back to the levels that he has been. I think maybe, you know, he needs to come in and out of the team. Obviously, we've got Daniel Marlon as that backup, and he's been brilliant. But I still think we need one more, because after those two, one of those two is missing, then we are very, very short up front. And there's going to be a hell of a lot of games coming on now. We're planning to go deep into the Europa League. We want to go deep into the FA Cup, I'm sure. So we're going to need squad and depth. And at the moment, in those striker positions, we don't have it. So I'm sure that there will be some action there. Likewise, in midfield as well, yes, we've got players like Ross Barkley missing in this one. I still think we'll be active in January. I still think we'll buy a winger, because that's a player that we don't really have to stretch oppositions when the game calls for it. What we saw out there today was brilliant with the narrow, with Morgan Rogers and McGinn playing as the narrow, kind of 2 10s, you could call it. Then you've got Buendia that can come on. Ross Barkley can play in there. Obviously, we've seen Yuri Tielemans play as a 10 number, as Emery calls it. So there are options there, but I don't think we have many options as on the wing. Jadon Sancho is only the only option. Let's see what goes on with him in January. Let's see, but I can't really see him staying. Evan Gasson is off to AFCON and will miss, a majority of December and January games. So, let's see where we are with that. But he wasn't even in the squad yesterday, I think, through injury. So let's see if we see him again before he departs for AFCON on the 14th of December. I'm not too sure we will, because what we got, is it just West Ham coming up? Actually on the 14th, so that'll be his last game for us if he does get on, and I don't really see him being used, because maybe from the bench perhaps, but no, I can't really see it. So, but guys, this was a phenomenal win. I could talk about this all day. I don't want to, but I could watch that replay over and over and over. But yeah, Matty Cash with the first goal, superb finish, great run from Matty, and my public apology to you, mate. You've been phenomenal this season. I definitely at the beginning of the season said we needed to upgrade. I'll stick by what I said, but I was wrong. I even had some doubts after the Sunderland result, saying about Unai Emery. Has he taken this squad as far as he can go? Again, I'll hold up my hands and say I was absolutely, totally wrong about that. And I absolutely love this manager. I want him to do well. I love the passion. I love the jumping. The jumping and the goal celebrations from the touchline, and how he behaves is exactly how I want my manager to behave. And I knew he would get it right eventually. It would just take a bit of time. But obviously frustrated at that point, and frustration comes out sometimes, without thinking and all that sort of stuff. And, my wife can lay testament to that. But anyway, guys, I'll leave it there. Please do like and subscribe on your way out. I'll be back at you with some more content. We've got West Ham coming up next. I don't know. It's Basel, isn't it? It's Basel on Thursday, isn't it? There you go. So I forgot about that one. So Basel on Thursday in the Europa League in Switzerland. A game we need to win. I'll do a match preview for that, which will be out tomorrow then, I think, or maybe, tomorrow. We'll have a look at Basel and their sort of danger players, and I'm sure that they'll prove more of an opposition that Young Boys did, even though Young Boys did, come strong in the end. I think we'll have a tougher game against Basel and Xherdan Shaqiri and all them kind of guys. So yeah, hang on, keep an eye on the channel for that preview coming out tomorrow, guys. But yeah, do smash a like, subscribe to the channel. I need 29 more subscribers to hit the 500. So if you haven't already, smash a like, keep up the likes and the comments. Let me know your thoughts on the game. Let me know your thoughts on the games coming up as well. Does Emi Buendia now start for us? If so, where, for who? We've got Basel coming up. Obviously, I'll do a preview on that and what I think the team lineup should be. Emery has been resting and rotating certain players in certain games leading up to these key games. Will he do the same again for Basel? So we'll have to see. I very much see Daniel Marlon starting in that game, but I'll come on to that preview tomorrow. Anyway, guys, I'll leave it there. Enjoy your Monday. Keep watching the replay of the goal. I'm going to go watch the match highlights again for about the millionth time. Up the mighty Villa. Get the Christmas tree up. Get the decorations up. And I'll see you all soon. Bye for now.